All right, Scorp, this is actually not that bad. Like, I was worried when Nightmare came out, but it's interesting. So, from Le Vampire Nightmare, Psychic Protection, Shield, and Bad Dreams, and then from Chakra Wisdom Prayer, Nightmare is talking about how you are coming out of a nightmare phase in your life. You're coming out of a period of time where it's hard to sleep, you're having bad dreams. In whatever way you've been facing nightmares, it's coming to an end when this card shows up. But what's interesting to me is prayer. Now, prayer really talks about being sidetracked. So you think you're on the path to having your prayers answered, but you're going to be sidetracked onto a completely different path. You may not think that you're going to get to what you're actually wanting, but this other path is where your prayers are going to be answered rather than where you think you need to go. That's one of the things that I point out with this card. Now, it is talking about how you will be guided back to your true calling if you've been sidetracked. But I don't think that, the path that you're on right now is leading you down. All right, Scorp, here we go. Here's your overall for the week, the Eight of Wands. So things moving quickly, you wanting things to pick up, communication. But what I get more from this, and I say this when I see this card, the wands are like parallel and they're going right down to earth. It's like watching everything just kind of fall into place for you. Travel does come up with this, but everything starts to move really quickly. It's fast-paced energy, things moving quickly, fast communication. But we'll see. We'll see how this is playing out, because I do feel like for some of you, you're wanting something to pick up the pace, though, too. Oh, shit. Why, Scorp? At least it's the past. The shadow side, or the devil. This is about all the things that are holding you down. The things that you allow to have control over your life, right? And needing to clear all that shit up. And again, with Nightmare, it makes sense to me. And you now coming out of this. But I worry about it still being a persistent thing. Now, it can just be the catalyst for what's happening. But that being the past, yeah. Some of you are dealing with some pretty hard negative things, especially with Nightmare showing up. In the present, the King of Cups. Now, honestly, for me, if we're talking about Scorpio, usually I see the Queen of Cups as Scorpio. This to me is like Cancer. So, I wonder if some of you are dealing with another person. Now, definitely we can be talking about you because of it being the King of Cups. And being in control of your emotions or taking an emotional distance from something. And that's one of the things that I point out with the King of Cups. He's different than the Queen. The Queen gets emotionally wrapped up and involved and invested. He's a little bit smarter about that. Still very loving and supportive, but he knows not to get carried away. But like I said, and I'm waiting to see what's happening here, but I do think for some of you, another person, possibly another water sign. Oh boy. So yeah, there is another person involved. Okay, so if you are the male Scorpio, this is really about you being in better control of your emotions, especially if, you're used to, like, doing things that are not so good. But you move into this place here with the Queen of Wands where if you do have somebody around you, I think that you're better able to manage things. Now, for the females, you look really good. You look really good with the Queen of Wands. I love it. And I love this one because she looks like my mom. I love it. The Queen of Wands in future conditions. And even if we're talking about Scorpio energy, period, it's you being in better control of your emotions, not letting those negative things have control over you anymore. and getting to a place where you look good. You're hot shit. You know how to manage what's going on. There's excitement with her. I love the Queen of Wands, and I love that type of energy, and I hope to God that that's us right now, and it's a good thing. Please. Especially with the devil being the past. Now, if we're talking about, you know, the relationships that you have, you know, I'm hoping that we're overcoming whatever negative things that, you know, we may have been attracting or getting involved in, you know, because again, you're coming out of a nightmare phase. Oh my God. Why? Why? Now, let's go through this. The Seven of Swords is your best path to follow. Now, when I see it here, if you're needing to be quiet about what you're doing or what you're planning, there's a reason for that. There has to be, with it being the advice. The other thing that I feel like is if you are like not talking about the way that you feel, maybe now is the time for you to start being truthful. But it's not the Ace of Swords, so it's different. With the Seven of Swords, you know, maybe doing things on the down low is not the best way to be like doing things. Especially with the damn devil being the past coming through. You know, now on the other hand, when we're talking about those negative things, when you're looking at the Seven of Swords as your advice, now is the time to get the hell out. Even if that means that you need to be quiet about what you're doing. Like if you're in a difficult situation, you need to take what you can and get the hell out of Dodge. You know what I'm saying? But like, I don't know. I feel more so that not talking about things is probably not the best way to go. I think, you know, it would be better just to come out with it, you know. Now, I don't necessarily feel like you're doing anything like intentionally sketchy, but I'm sorry, Scorp, like seriously, I have to question it. But what changes this is the fact that you're coming out of a nightmare phase. So it may very well be that you're needing to get out of a difficult situation now. Bothers me. Bothers me. Oh my God. I'm telling you right now, if we're talking about a relationship, there's no point in not revealing the way that you feel. Okay, so Scorpios, right? A lot of times, especially if this is a new situation, when we get into relationships, it's really hard for us to kind of like express the way that we feel. You know, but maybe keeping things on the down low, like I said, even if you're keeping a relationship on the down low, is probably not the best thing to do. The Two of Cups in your environment connected to the King of Cups. And this is why I felt like this is going to have to do with another person. Now, you know, this doesn't have to be romantic with the Two of Cups. This could be about a business partnership. It could be about a connection that you have with a family member. But look at it, for Christ's sakes, right? These two people are so, like, connected. All they see is each other. And maybe for some of you, you're like keeping things hush-hush about the way that you feel about somebody else, though. But like you move into this place where with the Queen of Wands, you're like out with it. But again, I worry about the shadow side showing up. You know, and what I worry about is, you know, are you falling into negative patterns when it comes to relationships? Because things are moving quickly. Like really quickly. Oh boy. Oh boy. Your hopes and your fears, the Page of Pentacles. So this to me is about wanting to get something started. And again, like, I have to wonder here if, like, you're not really being open and honest about the way that you feel about, like, a partnership. And again, whether this is business or romantic, looking at the Seven of Swords. Like, I feel like it would be better just for you to say it and get it out and be done with it and do it quickly instead of reverting back to bad habits and bad patterns. Because this, to me, is saying that you're hoping to get this going. But you're not seeing anything, though. You know? And it may be because maybe this isn't, like, a good thing to be doing. And again, I say that because of the Seven of Swords and the shadow side. But still, I mean, things move quickly. You're hoping to get something started here. You're looking at this connection, possibly with a person. But like I said, you know, it looks like coming out of this, I think you get a little bit more confident. And maybe there's, like, a more open communication that starts to come through. Okay. Alright. So here's what I'm seeing here. For some of you, something may be coming back around. But again, with the Wheel of Fortune, right? Generally, it is about the turning of the wheel and better things happening. Fate and destiny stepping in, especially with prayer showing up. But it's all about you getting out of this negative shit here with the shadow side, whatever that is. Bad thoughts, bad patterns, bad relationships. It's over, right? But now, when we're moving into this place where, you know, you're seeing the cycle repeat, first you come in with the Three of Swords, which to me says at one time here, there was heartbreak. And then you move into the Lovers. Come on now. And the Two of Cups. And then you move into this place with the Six of Pentacles. So it really is about the decisions that you're making in terms of relationships, especially with the Lovers being there and looking at the Devil as coming through. Maybe doing things the way that you used to do them is not the best thing anymore. Especially if you have an opportunity here for a really good relationship. As far as the Six of Pentacles goes, it's you really, like, giving into this. Now, I don't think that it's a one-sided situation where it's unfair. I think that the only way that it's going to be, you know, equal give and take here as far as a relationship goes is when you open your mouth and say something. Man, oh man. Like, I feel like, you know, if you want to be open here to receive better things than what you've known in the past, especially in terms of relationships, you know, you've got to say something. Doing things the way that you used to do it just isn't any good, you know. And again, we're coming out of that nightmare cycle when it comes to, you know, what you attract into your life as far as relationships and how you act. But wow. But you know what? It's something that comes back around, though, with that wheel, I'm telling you. But, like, I feel like you look better, you feel better, you're doing better as far as the Queen of Wands goes. Being in future conditions and dealing with this coming back around. And it's happening quickly. But again, like, everything just kind of falls into place. But there's no reason to have to keep things hush-hush or, like, not express the way that you feel. And definitely, you know, if you're in a toxic situation, like, getting out of it has to be the first thing that you do before, you know, any real connection can happen. But I feel more so it's just you needing to say something. Because I'm telling you, looking at the Three of Swords and looking at the shadow side, I think that the way things went in the past may not have been very good, especially if you're looking at somebody from the past coming back through. You know, and the only reason why I say that is because of the Wheel of Fortune, but it's, like, meant to happen. It's like meant to happen. All right, for those of you who are single, trusting in the situation and not keeping things hidden anymore, and needing to say something. Oh, and trusting in your intuition, especially when it comes to like needing to communicate the way that you feel. Wow. But what is the secret? You know, that's what I'm wondering. What is it that you're withholding? You know, but trust, right? Needing to trust, needing to open up and say something. Now, for those of you who are in a relationship, honeymoon and then the Eight of Wands, that's perfect. It's beautiful. The Eight of Wands, like I've said before, this is savoring the moment. You know, you can take the relationship to the next level in due time. I mean, there's really no need to rush with this, and it's funny because you're the Eight of Wands there. But really, it's savoring the moment, enjoying the time that you have together, not really worrying about what's going to happen in the future. You're just dealing with that later. I see it as a good thing. You know, and you're just enjoying time together, which is perfect. But singles, it makes me wonder if there isn't somebody in your space that you like need to say something to, which is possible. And I wonder with the Queen of Wands if you don't get the balls and do it, you know? But like I said, with the wheel, it's like this is coming back around. And really, you know, it's all about the choices that you're making as far as relationships go. Do you follow temptation or do you do the right thing this time? All right, Scorp. So let me just say that seeing Nightmare, I mean, at first I was pretty worried, but I'm glad to see it because I can tell you that I haven't been sleeping for weeks. So seeing this and knowing that it's coming to an end is like, oh, it's like a breath of fresh air for me. But what's even better, though, is looking at prayer. So for those of you who are coming out of a really difficult situation, your prayers are being answered on top of that, which is amazing. But I think that some of you are going to feel like you're being sidetracked. Like, wait a minute, my path was here, but now I'm on this path, and I've got to do this right now, and I want to get back here. But actually, what you're wanting is where you've been sidetracked. It's interesting. Now, with the Eight of Wands being the overall, definitely, maybe there needs to be some communication, possibly, about how you feel, maybe. But things happening quickly. And then not only that, but everything just kind of falling into place, which is so good. Now, again, coming out of a nightmare phase absolutely makes sense with the devil or the shadow side showing up. But I also feel like things are changing, though, too, in the way that you deal with, you know, relationships. And again, that doesn't have to be romantic, but you got the damn lovers, okay? So, now, I do think that when I'm looking at these two, there's no reason to get involved in relationships where things need to be kept on the down low. But more so, I feel like whatever bad habits you've had in terms of relationships need to be over with and you need to start speaking up. Now, definitely, if you're in a toxic situation, it is about getting out of that. But you have the King of Cups here with the Two of Cups. And like I said, I mean, even if, you know, we're looking at her as the other person, I still feel like it's going to be about somebody that you may have feelings for, and there's like a need to say it. And with the Queen of Wands, I feel like, you know, you get the courage and the confidence to do this. Now, as far as the Page of Pentacles, it makes sense to me, especially if you're looking at, you know, new connection, new emotion, even if it's something from the past coming back through. With the Page of Pentacles, it's like wanting to get it started, wanting to get this going, wanting to make it real, and doing what is necessary to make this happen. And again, like I said, with the Wheel of Fortune, it's like, for me, I see repeating cycles with this. Because you're talking about 1 through 10. This isn't the world, right? Now, again, it is an opportunity for better things to happen, absolutely. But I think that, you know, if we continue to do things the way that we have in the past, again, the shadow side, that's really where the heartbreak is coming through. And it's really a question of the choices that you're making as far as relationships go. But looking at the Six of Pentacles, like, I feel like you're ready to receive something better this time. But there needs to be that equal give and take, which means you need to open your mouth, possibly here, about how you feel. But I don't feel bad about it. I look at the clarifiers as past, present, future. So if we're looking at the Wheel of Fortune in terms of a relationship and a love connection, it's coming back around, but there may be a little bit more of equal give and take, or a need for that to happen. You know, and again, you grabbing the balls here and saying something. But, you know, like I said, with these two, I'm so glad. I'm so glad that they showed up. You know, like I said, at first I was worried with Nightmare. But as far as relationships go, for those of you who are single, trust and the High Priestess. Again, needing to say something and needing to trust your intuition, needing to trust yourself to be able to, like, you know, say what's been kept secret, possibly for some of you, right? And trust that when you open up in that way, that things will go the way that they're supposed to. Again, you have prayer showing up, so damn it, it better. Now, for those of you who are in a relationship, this is really nice. Honeymoon and the Eight of Wands, spending some time together, enjoying, you know, maybe doing some traveling, but savoring the moment. That is what I see with the Eight of Wands, and I think it's funny that that's the overall too. And it could be that, you know, some of you are needing to take the relationship to the next level.